Hey everybody, it's James Quick, and today I'm going to tell you how you can code absolutely anywhere using GitHub and Cloud9. Alright, so before we dive in, I want to give you guys a little bit of insight into what Cloud9 is, how I've used it before, and why I think it could be really helpful for you. So I first used Cloud9 in that web developer bootcamp that I took from Colt Steele on Udemy last summer, and we did everything in Cloud9. So Cloud9 is just kind of a cloud development environment where you can do everything that you need to for your web development project in the browser. So it's got these different workstations that you can create. If I scroll down here a little bit, it's got predefined workstations for HTML5, PHP, Node, Rails, Django, WordPress, Meteor. And these are workstations that have everything that you need already installed, so that you don't have to do it. You don't have to go out and figure out how to mess with installs. You don't have to figure out what all you need to install. You can just basically do a one-click creation of a workstation, and you've got something there that's ready to go. Now, Cloud9 has this built-in editor, which is comparable to like Atom or Visual Studio Code or Brackets or Sublime, all those different things. And it actually works really well. I was really impressed with how good their editor is. And then in addition, they've got, let me see if I can scroll through here to another image. They've got a built-in terminal. So these are all Linux environments where you can come into the terminal and do everything that you used to, starting your server, deploying, whatever you need to do, you can do from that terminal. So like I said, I used this for the first web development course that I took last summer. I used it exclusively. And then when I worked in New York and Miami, I worked a lot with students or programs who were teaching students computer science. And they didn't necessarily have a lot of resources with laptops and money to buy laptops. So I saw them give students Chromebooks, which are a lot cheaper. And even though they weren't very powerful, they could use Cloud9 to do all of their editing and installs and everything they needed right inside the browser. So it turned out really cool for them because it was a really quick and easy way to get the students up and going. And the last example here, a personal project that I'm working on, I was working on it on my local computer. I was using Git for version control, but I wasn't using GitHub. And I realized if I wanted to work on this project anywhere else, I couldn't do that outside of my laptop. So I thought back to Cloud9, I deployed to GitHub, I connected to Cloud9, and now I can work on this project anywhere I want. So that's kind of the workflow that I want to show you guys, and hopefully maybe it kind of changes how you look at how you do your workflow. So the steps that we're going to go through, we're going to create a Git repo with a local sample project. We'll create a GitHub repo and push that local project to GitHub. Then we'll create our workspace in Cloud9, connecting it to the GitHub repo. We'll make changes in Cloud9. We'll push those changes. We'll pull them local. We'll see those changes. We'll make more. We'll push those. And we'll see those reflected in Cloud9 when we pull the latest code. So that might seem like a lot, but let's go ahead and dive in, and hopefully it's not as intimidating as it seems. So I've got a local project here. It's a super simple server. All it does, it's up and running now. So if I come to localhost, it's just going to send me back some JSON here, James Quick, my Twitter handle, and my GitHub username. So from that, let me cancel the server. I'm going to do a init to turn this into a Git project. And I'm going to do a Git status to see what files I have. I'll do a commit. Actually, first I want to create a git ignore file. And this git ignore is going to ignore this node modules folder. So this node modules folder is not something that I want to check into source code. I want to have all of my dependencies checked in here so that when someone gets this project, they can run an npm install and it'll get all the packages they need. And that's what we'll do on Cloud9. So I just want to ignore node modules. And if I do another git status here, I should see that node modules is no longer listed. So it's going to ignore that when we push it out to GitHub. So let's go ahead and do add star. We'll do git commit. And do a message and just say initial commit. All right, if I do a git status, I should be clean. So our next step is to come over to GitHub. Let me go ahead and log in here. It looks like I'm already logged in. And I want to do a new repository, and I'll call it like a Cloud9 test. So Cloud9 test. Make that public. And so here's my URL that I can push to. I'm going to grab that, come back over here, and I'll do a git push and then paste in that URL and say I want to push the master branch. So I'll go ahead and push that. That'll take a second. There it is. And so if I come back to my GitHub page and refresh, you can see I've got my files here. Now, if you're not familiar with Git and GitHub and the basics here, probably want to do a little bit of research, because I'm not going to go through and talk about all the specifics right now. But it's something you can look into a little bit more. But in general, Git is your local version control. So all the changes that you do a commit, and it kind of saves a snapshot of each one of those commits. So you can, if you mess up something, you can revert back to a previous commit or something like that. And GitHub is just used to do basically a central repository of your code. So you can always get access to it because it's kind of stored somewhere else. So we've got our GitHub repo created. Now I think it's time to go ahead and dive into Cloud9. I log in with GitHub here. You guys can log in with GitHub or Bitbucket or a couple of different things. And so I've got several of these different workstations. This is the personal project that's private, so it's locked out, and I hopefully will get to talk about that sometime soon. All right, so you can see I've got several different workspaces here. I've got several different projects. I'm going to go ahead and create a new one for this this practice, and I'm going to call it C9 test. And I don't really need a description here. And notice there's a place where I can reference a Git project, so you can clone your Git project. So I'm going to get the URL for this Git project. I'm going to copy that, come in and paste it in here, and I'm going to do a node workspace because I'm using node, and I'm going to do a create workspace, and this is going to go out and create a Linux environment with all the things that I need, specifically node, and it's going to go ahead and get my code from GitHub, pull it in, and I should be ready to go with the same thing that I was working on before. So I'm going to let this finish downloading or installing, and I'll come back in a second. All right, so this finished, and notice I've got my server.js, which is that same server file, and you can see that that should look just like this. So it pulled in our code, and it's actually already set up as a Git project, so I can do a Git status here also. I'm on the master branch, everything's up to date, so I can come in here and start making changes, and I can say, I can add something here and say my Facebook is also James Q Quick, and my website is also jamesqquick.com. I could come in here and put a prefix there. So I've updated this file, and I want to see it locally. So if I want to run this, I first need to go ahead and install the packages that I have a dependency on. And if I come into my package.json, you should see that I've only got a dependency on Express. And so remember, we didn't copy in that node modules file. We just copied in, or we just checked in to source control our package.json. So if I come in down here and do an npm install, it'll reference this package.json. It'll look for what I need, my dependencies, my dependency being Express here, and it'll go out and install that dependency for me. And you can see it just created this node modules folder. Again, that's not going to be checked in, but now we've got all the dependencies local in Cloud9 that we need to go ahead and run this project. So to run this, I've got a start script, so npm run start. All right, so I've gone ahead and started my project. It's listening on port 8080, so it looks like it's working the way that it should. I'm going to come into preview and preview running application, and it's going to pull up side by side a URL that shows our application. So you can see we've got the information that we had originally, and then we've also got the Facebook and the website stuff that we just added. So this is actually, I'm going to copy this link, just copy it and close out this tab and open a new tab in Chrome, paste that in, and you can see I get the same thing once it loads. So this actually gives you kind of an external link that you can give to other people to try out your application as well while you're working on it. So that's really handy. You can share with people and not just have to do localhost, but you have to have it running for people to get to. So let me close this out, and let's say I'm going to go back and get this GitHub URL again, get that, and I'm going to shut down the server. And if I do a git status, we should see we've modified the package JSON and server.js. So let's go ahead and git add star and git commit and just say added fields to JSON. And then we also want to git push to our GitHub repo with the master branch. And I'll put in my username for GitHub and my password. And this should go out and push the files here. So if I come in, this should say updated, a few seconds ago. Okay, cool. So now I can come back in Visual Studio Code to my local project, and I can do a git pull and then paste in that URL again. And notice that it went out and got all of these updates that we had. So now let's say I wanted to add one more thing and say, well, I want to add my wife in here, and she is Jessica Quick. So I can save that. Let's go ahead and commit it again. So git status, it should just be one file. And let's do a git add of that file, git commit, and added Jess. All right, there we go. And then we also want to do the git push to the URL of the master branch. So let's go back one more time to Cloud9. And in here, let's do a git pull. So the same thing we just did. So git pull, and I want to paste in that URL. So git pull of this project. And it should go out and pull in the server.js, the new piece, which is my wife, so Jessica Quick. And then I could do an npm run start again. And I always forget to grab this URL. So let's do a preview running application. If I look at it, now it spits out that new JSON. So I've just gone back and forward between my local project, my local setup on my machine, to a completely pre-configured environment for me in the browser. And I had them collaborate with each other, through GitHub, through checking in source code and pulling it on the other end. And this way I can work on my project anywhere I am. I don't have to have my computer. I don't have to be dependent upon my environment and my installs and my anything. I can go out to the browser and make changes there. Now, for my normal workflow, I'm going to stay on my local computer just because I'm more comfortable with it. But when I find myself in a situation where maybe I forgot my computer or I'm at someone else's computer and I want to work on this, I can do that. So hopefully this gives you guys a little bit of insight into what Cloud9 is, how you can use it, how you can leverage it, how it could be really cool for you, and how it might fit into some specific scenarios for you or someone you know where it could be useful. Really, really cool stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to hear from you guys. Are you using Cloud9? Are you using anything like it? Have you used it before? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.